Never seen a lame man walk, never heard a dumb man talk, never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled death, never seen all the poor get fed, never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you will change his name. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen a mystery revealed.
Nope.
Hey, how you doing, podcast people? It's your boy Bigger T, and it's time for the podcast, y'all. Let's get excited. Let's get hyped. This is a special one. I'm here with my man, Big C. Clint Clark, how you doing, homeboy?
If I'm acting awkward, it's because you really scared me this time and a little bit of pee came out.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all right. You're wearing a diaper, so it's all right.
Yeah, I do that because you never know when you have to go during the podcast.
Yeah. Depends. Woo! That's right. Man, Clint, this is a special episode.
It is.
The people saw that it was a special episode because there's going to be a special title slide on this one. We've done 38 of these bad boys. It took us to 39 to do something different on our title slide. And It's not that much different. But it does say, Clint, there's lots of awards out
there. There is.
There's there's the ESPYs. People like those for Oscars, Golden Globes. I don't know what they're
Razzies for terrible movies.
Yeah, those. There's the Moon Man for MTV. Yeah, the Blockbuster Awards. That still happens. The Soul Train Music Awards. I used to love
the
that.
Don Dempsey Award at Arkansas Tech University.
That's right.
The inaugural winner.
That's right. There's who's that?
Dennis Jason Crane, DJ Crane himself.
DJ Crane won that.
DJ Crane won that.
So, there's the Broyles Trophy, whatever. That's a big deal. Jim Thorpe Award, the Heisman, whatever.
They're all big. They're big.
They're big.
They're big.
But they're not Biggie.
Nope. We have the Biggie Awards.
The Biggie Awards.
And now this is our first ever Biggie Awards.
First ever inaugural.
Now we kicked around names, and because I came to Travis, we're going to do award shows, and we were talking about calling it the Biggins, and we're not going to go into what we came up with in a search of Biggins.
That went down too many bad places.
Yeah, it went into some rabbit holes. Al Bundy was holding a magazine in one of them, and we're going to leave it at that. We keep it G. I can't even talk. We keep it PG.
Family oriented here, folks.
Family oriented. We don't have an E by our Apple podcast.
That's right. So yeah, we're clean, and so we're the biggies. We're not
biggies. The
Biggie Smalls, although we love it. We do love it when you call us Big Papa.
Yeah, I love me. I love it when you hypnotize me.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
we know that more money, more problems.
Yeah.
The more money we get, the more problems we see.
I need more problems.
I don't know. Sorry. I love, that's anyway. So we have, Clint, the Biggie Awards. Okay. And we came up with some of these categories will be familiar to you, but we're just going to break down the Razorback season and talk about the awards that we would give out to people that we just meant the most to us because it's our show and we can do that.
Right. Yeah. And we do what we do. We kind of keep it a little bit different than what everybody
else. A little bit different, but
a little bit different.
A lot of it will be the obvious choices on some things. But first of all, like always, being the Tommy Boy lovers that we are, there's things that make us go, holy shnikes, Batman. I don't know how Batman got into this.
I don't know.
But we say holy shnikes to lots of things. Last week, Clint, we talked a little bit about the coaching, with Lincoln Riley leaving.
Right.
And you shared his contract details, which blew our minds.
Man, but all these
carousel keeps rolling.
Man, all these contracts are out of hand. Like Mel Tucker got like $9.5 million.
Yeah.
It's Mel Tucker, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that Ray Tucker's second cousin?
Yeah, I think so.
Did he grow up in Helena and play softball with Ray Tucker when they were kids? I'm sure they did.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry. Ray Tucker.
No, but it seems like we got off the podcast. Like we wrapped it up, and I sit down in my recliner, turned on the Razorback game, and it said Brian Kelly went to LSU because we recorded it on Monday, and I think it broke Monday night.
Yeah.
Now that in itself is not holy shnikes, even though I've never been a big Brian Kelly fan.
Yeah.
I think you could, what quarterback has he ever developed? Now he's won some games, but he's not had a player you're like, oh, or a team you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Would you turn the basketball game on?
Well, I was just going to see if it was on. Is it on?
It is on.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyway,
hit the volume. Trying to hit the volume. Go ahead.
No problem. Give me to ask Alexa what the score is. I will.
No, go ahead.
All right. Alexa, stop. Anyway, answer me. So Brian Kelly gets introduced at LSU, which just seems like, okay, but so he gets introduced at the basketball game, and next thing he's like, hey, how y'all doing? I'm yo, eat yet?
Family. My family.
Now I love to rag on the guy. I mean, I love it because he's a rival coach now, and I'm entitled not to like him.
Yeah.
But he's out there and he develops this fake Southern accent.
Yeah.
Like he's from I don't know where he's from. But he ain't from around here. I'm just going to leave it.
I think he's from Boston, like Boston area.
Yeah. So
I think after that happened, I heard, Pat Bradley on the Buzz. And I think he said he's from like Massachusetts or somewhere like that. Like up north.
But the thing is, sometimes when you're hanging around, some friends from other countries that have accent, you start developing a bit of an accent. I mean, we have a mutual friend named Jake. Won't give in his details, but Jake was born and raised in Arkansas.
Yeah.
He did a stint in the Coast Guard. He got stationed out east, and he come back. It sounded like he was from Boston.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jake,
Long Island. Yeah.
You lived in Damascus, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So miss me with that.
Worcester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at first I was laughing at him. Okay. But then I started realizing, Clint, like you said, I catch myself doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I've been on lots of mission trips, to other countries. I've been to Mexico 3 times. I've been to Sri Lanka, to Romania, to Greece, to Ecuador, to Guatemala, to the Philippines twice. Okay, so I've been a lot of places. And I'll find myself when I go to those places, I'll start talking in broken English.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, how you say bathroom? Like, talking real and I'll have people on the trip with me like, is something wrong with you? But I'm talking like the person that I'm talking to.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like you said, that's what Brian Kelly was probably doing. He probably does that on the recruiting trail when he comes down south. Right. He probably sits in a, mama and daddy's dinner table and starts talking about his love for cornbread and, and cornbread and beans and fried fish, even though he probably hadn't had any years.
Yeah, that boy ain't never had no good catfish.
That's right.
I mean,
he's baking that fish. He is.
Yeah. like someone shows him some shrimps and grits down there, and he's like trying to suck it down. Like, I love it. Best thing I ever ate.
Yeah, he's gonna get some etouffee, and he ain't gonna know what to do.
No, etouffee will change his life, though.
It will change your life.
Well, he'll be talking like Ogeron.
We're just trying to get those shrimp down his gullet. But no, that was hilarious. It was funny.
Yeah,
it was just funny. Everybody's response.
He got roasted. People already kind of feel like he's a carpetbagger, for the lack of a better term. And I don't know. It never seems to go well when a guy from up north moves down to the SEC.
Yeah.
It seems like they just don't. I mean, I look at Brett, for example. On paper, it should have worked.
Yeah.
And I really do. I think
he grew up a pig farmer.
I think Brian Kelly is going to be their Brett Belima. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
He very well could be.
And I think on paper, you're like, this should be a home run hire. And I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before. I once said Brian was going to have a better NFL career than Peyton Manning. That didn't work out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. We'll see what happens. But it was kind of funny to watch. And man, it's been, and he got some similar stuff that Lincoln Riley got. He's got use of the jet. I don't think he's got the use of it Lincoln Riley does, but he's got limited use of it. He's got I think they bought him a house and all that kind of stuff too. So he did pretty well. And I'll tell you what's neat to see, Clint, is that is it Freeman, the defensive coordinator that moved up? Did you see the team welcoming him?
Oh, they were.
Man, you could tell they already love that guy.
Yeah, and I think it was a good move on Notre Dame's part to, number one, act quickly, because I think it showed stability.
Yeah.
Like in the face of what Brian, look, Brian Kelly left for what he felt like was a better job. And so you can't blame Brian Kelly. But, I mean, look, they got somebody the kids love. He's happy to have the job. And that's the oldest Nike's moment for this week.
Well, so let's start with our awards. What say you?
Without further ado, Travis Cody.
Let's lay it on.
All right. You want the first award of the evening? You want me to read it out?
Here, should we do the intro to this? Should I do my?
You go ahead.
Michael Buffer.
You go right on ahead. You do.
And now, to the tens of people listening on YouTube,
at least dozens
or dozens,
something,
and to the tens of people listening on Apple and Spotify, are you ready? Let's get ready to begin. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Now we're ready.
You know what I've noticed? I went back and looked at our first podcast. Tons of views. You know which ones are terrible? The ones with Branscombe in them.
That's right.
I don't even know. I just wanted to take a moment to insult Robert Branscombe.
No, don't do that.
Okay, no, I'm joking because I love the guy.
That's right.
I love it. All right.
Okay, and I love the fact that we named our awards off of size of French fry at Wendy's. Okay, and also we're big guys. Anyway, so Clint, here's the first award. Okay, this, one of the things we needed to do this year was win games.
Yeah,
right? Win games. The first category we have is the win of the year, which I think you came up with this. I think it's a great award to give. What game do you think? And kind of go through your, because me and you talked about this a little bit, but go through what our thinking was to pick out the game of the year.
You really want to, this season was about two things. Obviously we wanted to collect wins, but we wanted more than two things. I'm going to go on here, but we wanted to end streaks. We wanted to stop the streaks. You wanted to stop some streaks.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to win trophies. You wanted to make a bowl game. You had all these awards. You had these lofty aspirations. You had players like Grant Morgan come back to play a sixth year. You had Hayden Henry, the list goes on and on. Those are just some of the ones I'm naming. But you had a lot of people would look at go Texas game. That's what gave them the momentum. And I agree with you. That's a huge win. But to get all 3 trophies, you got to win that first one. We had a 10-game losing streak to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And with some heartbreaking losses. You had the Dan Skipper tripping penalty. You had, and to play off his line, you need a little bit of an edge. You need a little bit of, I really didn't blame Dan for that because, to be honest with you, I probably would have done the same thing. But Texas A&M, I think, is the win of the year. We hit adversity that you didn't need to in the first game of Rice, but we were better than Rice. We weren't equal to Rice. We were better than Rice. And honestly, if you look at the Arkansas-Texas game, we were that much better than Texas.
Yeah.
We just didn't know it yet. We hadn't had our confidence. If we had played Texas week 10, I think we'd have beat them that bad and there'd been no drama.
As you and I discussed this, that was the thing that, that kept coming back to me was, if right at the moment, that Texas win was huge.
It was. Because
of what we thought Texas was. But then Texas didn't really prove out to be who we thought they were. But Texas A&M beat Bama.
Yeah. Well, it also getting that tiebreaker over them got us third in the West.
Yeah. And and Texas A&M was just a better team. And once again, like you said exactly, we broke the first streak right there. And Sam Pittman used that to motivate to break those other streaks, which we broke all of them.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I mean, how many times does a coach have, especially on a team like we had, that people were thinking if we won half our games, we would be okay. Like that was what everybody predicted. A lot of folks predicted 6-7 wins. We talked about it. We thought we could win more than that, but we, what did we say? 7 at the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
And for them to win 8 and break all those streaks, man, that A&M was a big game.
That was huge. And I think that's when you realize, okay, this team's good. The bad part about it is that it got us College game day at Athens, and that didn't go well.
That turned out bad.
That turned out bad.
That was a bad day.
That was, well, there's plays all around that happen every snap. It's a play.
Yeah.
But Big T, what do you think the Razorbacks play of the year was this year?
Well, I'm gonna. You actually came up with this one, and I agree with you. It's our boy Hayden Henry getting that 4th down stop against Texas. We're going to talk about him in a minute, but he came up with big play after big play this year, and that was a huge play, and just showed the type of player and type of just who he was to this team.
And he played so hard, and he always has, even during the Chad Morris era. You saw him make that big play against Colorado State. But, man, I mean, and we've talked about it, too, about how we think if the linebacker core, Bumper, Grant, I can see Hayden having the best NFL career because I can see Hayden moving to safety and becoming an Archuleta type. I really can.
Well, I see him like a
Larry Rizzo, something like that,
or somebody like Palomalu, somebody they move around from linebacker to like a strong safety. He's not going to be able to cover like a nickelback,
No.
But and just to segue into it, the next category we have is our favorite player of the year, and mine is Hayden Henry. My player.
And it's a good one. I mean, it really.
And I mean, honestly, look, you know, there's several we could have gone with. You're gonna have yours here in a minute that you went with, but I just think I was worried about our linebackers at the beginning of the year, Clint. I was really worried about our linebackers because just if you know football, you know they've been picked on over and over again. Okay, and Ole Miss picked on them this year. Georgia picked on them this year. Okay, but Hayden Henry got on the field more this year because they played him with Bumper and Grant, and he was out there even when they had two linebackers quite a bit. Yeah. So they put him on the field more, and his speed his coverage ability is better. And if you watch the games, it's not just the tackles. Look, Bumper led us in tackles. Okay, Bumper had a great year. Yeah. Just because you get the stats doesn't mean you're playing the best game. And you know, Grant Morgan would have been a good argument here for player. But I just love what Hayden Henry brought to this team. He brought toughness. Go ahead.
And to make that play he made on Play of the Year against Texas, that 4th and 1 stop that said, no, you're not coming back. This game's over.
Yeah.
He met, was it Robinson in the hole?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He met him in hole, and it was violent. It was nasty. It was vicious. Yeah. And that's the way Hayden Henry played. And I loved watching him play. Now,
Glenn, who's your player of the year?
Yeah, no, mine, and I said at the beginning of the year, if Arkansas to have a great season, I really thought they could be 8-4 if KJ Jefferson was special, is what I said. And ladies and gentlemen, KJ Jefferson was special.
Yeah.
He was special. Travis, I'm asking you a question, point blank. I think I've asked you this on Marco Polo, so you've had time to think about it, process.
Yeah.
Down 5.
Yeah.
Minute and a half left on the clock. You've got to have a touchdown. Who are you taking, KJ Jefferson this year or Brandon Allen his senior year?
KJ.
Because to me, those are the two best quarterback performances. Everybody loves to talk about Tyler Wilson and Ron Mallett under Petrino, but I would take KJ this year and Brandon Allen his senior year over either one.
Look, I love Brandon Allen.
Oh yeah, I do too.
He was as smart with the football as any quarterback we've had. But the way KJ can take over, he doesn't have to have somebody else to help him take over.
No.
He can take over running the ball. He can take over a game with his legs. And well, he did. What game was that when he came back in hurt? Was that Texas?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, yeah. Came back in hurt, gets that first down. Yeah. Yeah, I'd take KJ. And the only reason I didn't pick KJ as my player of the year is because you had already said him. Okay.
Yeah. I've kind of had him.
We're obviously leaving out Treylon Burks.
Oh, yeah.
And look, most people would pick him over Hayden Henry. I get that. Okay. With Hayden Henry, I'm also going with the story.
Right.
He's the youngest of 3 brothers, or not the youngest, but he's supposedly the least talented of the 3 brothers, right? Both his brothers were highly recruited. He wasn't. He was a gray shirt walk on, if I believe I'm right there. So that's why, there were some other guys we left out. Some of them, Catalan didn't get to play the whole year, so we can't put him in there. Buster Brown, had a great year, 5 interceptions. I mean, led the SEC in interceptions. But KJ and Hayden, I think, are good representatives for the Big U.
And I loved what I saw of the offensive line too, and
oh yeah.
Yeah, and And I've got a man crush on Jamil Walker too. I could have put the strength and conditioning coach in here.
Yeah, that's true.
He is now, Travis, every year, you start a season, you're like, wow, and something happens, you're like, hey, I didn't see this coming. Like, ooh, that caught me off guard. So Bigger T, what is your surprise of the year?
Well, Clint, and I, not to brag a little bit here, but I sort of saw it coming.
You did.
It's our boy Trey Knox.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. At the start of the season, I was just super disappointed because I was really hoping, as fall practice finished up, man, I was hoping he was going to step up. Because, man, his freshman year, those first couple games, that guy looked like all world out there, And I'm thinking, man, and then they said they moved him to tight end. And at first I was like, oh, goodness.
You're almost like they've given up on him.
Yeah, like, okay, here's a transfer portal for sure,
Yeah.
That skinny guy is going to get blown away out there. But then I started watching the games, man, and Clint, he was blocking good. And then that's when I started saying stuff on here, like, watch out, he's going to end up being a surprise. They're going to start throwing the ball to him later. And sure enough, man, and look, if he puts on 20 pounds and if Walker gets about 20 pounds of good weight on him, we're talking about a chance to be the best tight end in SEC next year.
Yeah. And I posed you this question, me and you we talk all week and I asked you, because I think it's a foregone conclusion that Burks is gone.
Yeah.
I just think it is. But I think Burks to Knox could be Jefferson to Knox could become, that could become his go-to guy at tight end because, man, because what I love about KJ in the 2-minute drill is that he's like, okay, you got all that downfield. He'll dink and duck to Knox.
Yeah.
I mean, Knox became his safety blanket. And and
a lot, some of those passes, Clint, you notice that Knox was catching were when he had guys were in traffic and they were like, I'm not talking about where he's got to jump up for a 50-50 ball. Those are tough, and he can do that. Or he used to could do that. We'll see if he can keep doing that, and I think he will. But I'm talking about where he's got a linebacker right here about to hit him, and the ball's coming, and he's still making the catch.
Yeah,
that's what I was impressed with, and where KJ's having to just ram it in there to him. And those kind of guys, man, those are the guys that quarterbacks love as a safety valve. They love to drop it off to. So I think you're right. I think that could be the big connection next year for this team. Now, of course, we got that, what's his name, the transfer from Oklahoma.
Yeah, Hazelwood.
So that's going to be a big addition, to this team. And, we'll see how Thompson and some of those guys are. But I'm like you, it's a good chance Burks is gone. You don't blame him for going.
No, you can't. Man, to keep your first-round draft pick, go make your money, man.
Yeah. And that thing is, people are saying, well, but, he may be second round right now. And
he's second round right now.
Well, he is right now.
Every mock draft I've seen's got him going in the first round.
Oh, there's some that's got him in the second.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When he goes to the combine, he'll be first round.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
When they get his measurables, he's going to be first round.
Yeah.
When they measure those hands, you know how those scouts freak out about hands. They're like what's his name? Rex. Heck. He's got a twin brother that's a coach too.
Rex Ryan.
Yeah. I was like, their daddy was a coach. Why can't I think of his name?
Buddy
like Rex Ryan with feet.
Oh, stop it. We discussed this in PG show.
That's the way those scouts are with hands, man. They love guys with big old hands. And
moving on.
Trey Burks has 5X gloves, man.
Yeah.
Look, a 2X fits these big old clodhoppers. 5X, that's huge.
Well, every year we, on both sides of the ball, people get hurt through attrition. So you never know when you're going to get your time to shine.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like, okay, next man up. I remember we were playing Delta State and our quarterback got hurt. And Coach Mullins goes, Clay Clark. I'm like, what are you looking at me for? I can't play quarterback. I can't even play center that well. And then anyway, he just wanted me to get some snaps with the backup quarterback. But that was it. I was like, don't be looking at me. I ain't stepping up. So we got a defensive and offensive step up award winner. And I'm going on defense. We're going with Miles Slusher.
Great pick.
Yeah. Jalen Catalon got hurt, and he was by far, I think, our most talented player on defense. I'm not saying best player, but he's the most talented. And you could argue best, but you're also on a team with some other guys who are All-Americans. But he was an All-American safety. So Miles Slusher, who I believe is a redshirt sophomore or a true sophomore, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
But he's true. True sophomore. He came in and played admirably and, had a highlight reel interception in a big moment in a big game.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, because a lot of people are like, well, we're going to lose Catalon to the NFL, and you still may. But it makes you feel better. It's like, okay.
Well, and here's the thing, Clint. Now they miss Catalon.
Oh, they do.
Okay, but us as fans, we didn't miss him that much. We didn't. I don't know about you, but I didn't. I expected to notice he was gone a lot more.
Well, I
expected in a lot of their press conferences to hear, well, that wouldn't have happened if Catalon was in, that kind of thing, and we didn't have any plays like that. Okay?
No, I mean, you did against Auburn. He had a couple. He got burnt pretty good against Auburn. But that was his first game. It was after the Ole Miss game that, okay, Catalon's out for the year. And so
I hate to tell you, Catalon's not immune to getting burned either.
Oh no.
He's not the fleetest of foot guy.
But you noticed it. You saw that was him getting burned. Yeah. And they burnished over the middle quite a bit. But after that, it's like, okay, it's like Sam Pittman said. He goes, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you go on about your business. And that's what they did. Yeah. They did. And Slusher did that. Now on the
offensive side.
Oh yeah.
We were looking for our answer at running back, right? We had all these running backs. And and the big question was, all of them are so daggum small. Yeah. And before the season, we were like, they're all small, but there's this one guy, Dominic Johnson. But anyway, they're all so small. And Raheem Sanders, we'll move him over there. He's 225 pounds, but he's a receiver, so he's gonna take him a while to figure things out. They're all so small, Clint.
Yeah.
And then at one time they moved Dominic to tight end. And he went. And then the next thing we know, he's back at running back.
Yeah, somebody got hurt, so they had to move him back.
They moved him back. Like after just like one or two practices. It wasn't very long. And the next thing you know, he's our stud running back by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And ran the ball hard, didn't fumble a lot, ran the ball well, saw the field well, seemed to do good job on pass pickup, pass pro. So he's our other comeback
or step up. Well, there was one game, and now I'm brain farting on it. It may have been, I can't remember the game. I want to say maybe it was Texas. But man, they blitzed, and the guy was at a clean shot at KJ, and Dominic Johnson picked up the blitz.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's Texas. Somebody's probably screaming at the TV. I can't remember, guys. My memory is not good. But man, but he did great. I mean, just every time he was on the field, he made plays. And everybody, Trey Biddy's like, you've got to get him more carries. He'd ask him Pittman. He goes, no, I agree with you. We got to get him more carries.
Yeah.
And they're like, I thought we had it figured out. Apparently we did it. But
that happened a few weeks in a row in the press conference.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about that.
Well, Dominic Johnson originally had committed to Missouri, was going to Missouri. And then when Barry Odom came to Arkansas after they fired Odom, we flipped him and St. John's, which I think will be two good ones.
Yeah. Well, so our next one, Clint, is one of the things that's just a part of life right now is the transfer portal. And we were blessed with some good transfers this year, but we were especially blessed on the D line.
We really were. And
I'll be honest with you, as I thought about this one, I mean, I've probably had a man crush on this guy all year.
You have, and I'm sitting there thinking about changing it, and I'm like, no, I'm not changing.
But there's two others on the D line.
That's why I was thinking about changing it, because I was thinking like we just ought to give it to the entire starting defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, there's two others that we could almost argue, because Williams was so good. And listen, y'all, we're gonna miss Hudson.
Dude, he ate blocks.
Exactly. He's not a guy that is gonna have a lot of stats, but we may look up and he may still be in the pros here in about 5 years.
You're JJ Watts and guys like that. I'm not comparing. I mean, Utsey's no JJ Watts, but man, they eat blocks. And that's what, I mean, they want you to have two guys block you. Yeah. And we had two guys. I mean, John Ridgway got double teamed and held every play.
And he's our Biggie Award winner for transfer.
Yeah, John Ridgway did. He got held every play. I'm like, I just look up like, we're not holding anymore. And they go, and they're saying like, that we had two defensive linemen transfer. And you're talking about they're both like 6 foot, 290 pounder, 300 pounders. You look at John Ridgway, 6'6".
Yeah.
And they've got 2 or 3 other younger guys that are just ginormous that are going to be playing that part.
Yeah.
That are a little bit younger, but John Ridgway has set a standard. I think he's the second best nose tackle in the SEC.
Yeah.
Behind Jordan Davis. I mean, Jordan Davis is he's
now Ridgway did have a little stint there back when we wasn't playing so good, that there were some things I saw that disappointed me a little bit, but he came out of it. And he finished up the season strong. And he may have been kind of hurting then. I don't know. But another thing they say about him that I liked about him was the fact they said he was great in the locker room.
Yeah.
He was a funny guy. He was a great locker room guy. Now, he's one we could see back, but I doubt it.
Well, I don't think I don't think he's going to go in the first, second round, but you can see 3rd to 5th on him.
Yeah.
And I think Pittman Sells' pitch to him is going to be, look, I think we can get you that 2nd, 3rd, or 2nd round if you come back. But I mean, there's no guarantee on that. And I think you could actually, I do think you could have all 3 defensive linemen come back. At least you would want them to come back if you're Arkansas. Yeah. I don't know how realistic that is.
No, that's not. I don't think that's going to happen. But
so
anyway, Ridgway, excellent year. Our transfer of the year. Next on the list, Clint, is our true freshman of the year.
I'm going to let you take this one because I kind of took your thunder on the last one.
Oh, no. This one, man, there's nothing like feeling when you go out for a kick, that you know your guy's going to make it. You have faith in him. And Cam Little, man, that little fella, he's just a needle guy.
Yeah.
He has just killed it. You know?
He has. It just, and we remember the Alex Tejada days and missing big kicks. And Cam, man, you're like, okay, we just got this interception on LSU in the end zone. This game is over. You can't. Cam's going to nail it, and you realize, like, oh man, he's a true freshman. He's got to hit a game winner. Like, and Pittman going for a 51 yarders. He goes, I'm in practice. I knew he could make it, and there wasn't much of a doubt in that one either. I mean, he played. And there's other true freshmen. Rocket Sanders. We could have easily gone with. I think he's really the only other. Rocket and Cam may be the only two. I mean, AJ Green had moments.
Yeah. No, Little did more for this team. And I forget how you say his name, but our kickoff guy, I heard on the radio that he's entered the portal.
Right. Well, I mean, he obviously wants to kick field goals.
Yeah.
You can't blame him. No one just wants to be the kickoff. You ain't going to get in the NFL being the kickoff specialist.
No.
You're just not.
No.
And so I don't blame Vito at all, because Cam Little is going to be the kicker for as long as he's at Arkansas, barring something horrific happening. Yeah.
And hopefully, and Little's got us. His legs going to keep getting stronger, so he's going to be able to put the ball back on kickoffs pretty far. Plus, we got a punter coming from Australia, so I think he's a guy that does everything. Kick off everything. So he may be able to help us out there. Anyway,
Bigger T, we're down to the big three. We got 3 awards left. Yeah. And I know the Razorbacks are gathered around winter. What if we want a Biggie?
Yeah, they are. They're sitting around. They're sitting around their phones, and they're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on Apple Podcasts. I wonder if I'm going to get a Biggie. Well, here's your final chance, fellas.
So we're going to start off with our defensive MVP of the year.
That's right.
And we on these next 2 awards, we gave it the big C, bigger T twist to it.
That's right. Because we can.
Yeah, we can. It's our podcast. We'll do what we want.
That's right.
You ain't the boss of me, Gabe Saracen.
Tell me what to do.
So
sorry, Mom. Anyway.
So, man, the defensive MVP, when you have 3 tacklers in the top 10 of the SEC, and each of them missed at least a solid half of football this year.
Yeah.
In Grant Morgan's case, the entire Rice gang. Because Hayden had to sit out, Bumper had to sit out, and Grant had to sit out.
Yeah.
But the entire linebacker core.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about doing an assistant coach of the year, position coach, and you had suggested the linebacker coach for how well they play.
Yeah.
And part of it is that, like we said, we had Ridgeway, we had Utsi eating up blocks, and it freed them to go after people.
Yeah.
It's like, and is there a bunch that, they played as hard as they could every snap. I don't think there's 2 players in college football. I think Bumper's the most talented of the 3.
All around, probably. Yeah.
I mean, he was a 4-star recruit. The other 2, one, I think Hayden was a 2-star, and Grant was, of course.
Well, both were walk-ons.
Yeah. Burlsworth Award winner.
That's right.
Grant Morgan ain't even brought that up. But yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a more deserving.
It's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. A guy that believes in what Burlsworth believed in, a guy that knows who Burlsworth was, what he stood for, and really did the same thing for this team that Burlsworth did when Houston Nutt came in.
He did.
I told you the other day, Clint, I was at my church. I'm pastor at First Baptist Thornton, and Houston Nutt's aunt lives across the road from the church. And I got to church last Sunday night, and Houston was over there. And I didn't want to be a fanboy and go, although I really wanted to be a fanboy.
Yeah, you wanted to. You just were trying to play it.
But I didn't. I decided to, because he was with family. His aunt's deaf, so they were signing and stuff. And so, but I thought about it later. It's a 30-minute drive from my house to the church. And so later that night, I was like, what questions would I ask Houston? And one of the questions, that no one else has asked him, or talked to him about, because I listened to him on the buzz and stuff. And one of the questions I thought of was, how similar is this team to the team you walked into in 98?
Yeah.
What are some of the similarities you see? And I think one of the similarities is senior class like Grant Morgan, seniors like Grant Morgan, who have taken ownership. And just like Nutt did with Brosworth and Sterner and all those, and Lucas and all those guys, Pittman has let these guys take ownership. And Morgan has been the face of that. And these linebackers, and not just Morgan, but Poole and Henry have been the face of that. They're the guys out front that everybody, look at the buzz gets NIL stuff. Who are three of the first players they try to get on there? Those three. They're on the buzz talking every week. And Catalan. Okay. And so this linebacker core, and Clint, like I said earlier, if you know football, there's some big weaknesses with these guys.
Yeah.
Especially speed and being fleet of foot. And our defensive coaches have done such a great job of keeping them to where they're a strength of this team and not a weakness. And where every offense is trying to make them a weakness.
And they're the guys out there playing as hard as they can, going as hard as they can in practice, making.
And that's when I'm saying they're weak, they got weaknesses. I'm not dogging them at all because the thing. They're going as hard as they can ever play.
Yeah, because you can't control your talent level. Your talent level,
exactly.
You can, but
and one of their weaknesses is they're so aggressive.
Yeah.
And you would rather them make mistakes full speed and being over aggressive than being under aggressive. Okay.
But no, no is like, okay, we could give the MVP to Hayden, but then you can make a solid case for Grant. Then you can make,
solid case for
and we could make a solid case for Monteric Brown. There's a lot of guys. You can make a strong case for Ridgeway.
Yeah.
But when you've got that entire core playing the way they are, now that brings
people. And once again, to go back to it, the people that really know football wasn't worried too much about our D-backs. And once we got the transfers, we wasn't worried too much about the defensive line. The worry is there going to be depth and strength. And a lot of the reason we say depth is because we knew those three were going to have some weaknesses and we needed somebody. And we didn't need the depth because those guys did such a great job.
They did.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But it's time to go with our offensive MVP. And I in this one, we of course did the big C, bigger T twist on this because if you watch the UAPB game, Traylon Burks and KJ Jefferson could have put up Madden numbers.
Oh,
yeah. It'd be like that one time I played you in NCAA football and all I did was call a Hail Mary and it worked the entire game. Yeah. It's like, they could have done that. Burks was a man and Jefferson got him the ball and found him.
Yeah.
Again and again. So our offensive MVP is Jefferson to Burks.
Yeah.
That was.
And for one reason, I was kind of thinking about, I was like, do we really want to combine all these different ones? But the truth of the matter is you got to get Burks in there because he means so much to this team too.
Oh, he does.
And but then it doesn't happen without the way KJ and the way KJ stepped up. We all kind of said this season was going to depend on how the quarterback played with.
Mm-hmm.
If someone asked me how the season was going to be, I would say it depends on what our quarterback does. And if we can protect him. Well, the offensive line protected him, and KJ exceeded expectations.
He did.
And Burks did what Burks does. He's the best player on the field every game. He's the best one out there. The only receiver you could even compare him to is the one at Alabama.
Yeah.
And that's it. So,
and KJ played the entire season with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
He did. He went out there, but I think he was picked 14th out of 14 in the power rankings. And I think the final power rankings, they had him 5th. They had Bryce Young first. I can't argue with that. Matt Corral, second. And then I think 3rd, 4th, and 5th were Will Rogers from Mississippi State, Hayden Henry, Tennessee, KJ. And I think you could put 3 through 5 in a hat and draw them out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So here's the last one, Clint. The big daddy of them all. We got a lot to talk about on this one.
Biggest of the biggie.
The team MVP. The biggie for team MVP. Clint Clark.
I won.
Big C. Who do you say is the team MVP for the
to get to where this team needed to go, to get to being respectful, to get to being an SEC football team again? It did not take a bunch of new players. It didn't take some guy to come in and say it was broken when we got here. It took a guy to come in and completely change the culture, to completely change the belief of this program. And this man brought it back. Ladies and gentlemen, our team MVP is Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
He brought in the right coaches. He brought in the right transfers. He talked the right guys into staying. It would have been easy. I mean, guys, this doesn't happen without Sam Pittman. You bring in Mike Norvell, you're still going whatever. You bring in Lane Kiffin. Lane ain't doing here what he's done at Ole Miss. Sam Pittman was the right guy for this job.
When you come into this team and you just had a guy like Morris leave, who was making up excuses, and it was all about once we get our guys in. And yeah, you know what? He was actually doing a pretty good job recruiting, it turns out.
Yeah, he was.
But you know what he wasn't doing? Sam Pittman came in from day one, said, we're going to win with the guys in this room. We don't need anybody else. We're going to win with the ones in this room. We're going to go to this game and we're going to win with the guys on this bus or on this plane. We don't need anybody else. Because that's the truth of it in life. You got to go with what you got in front of you. And he's teaching these guys that every week. And they went out there and they believed in each other. He started building leaders on this team. You know, leadership is such a huge thing in football. Having guys, because a coach can only lead so much. Because once you get out on that field, you got to have guys step up and say, come on, boys, let's go. Let's lock arms and let's do this. And he got them believing, man. And from day one, he was not in there saying, well, I wish we had, man, if we only had a big defensive tackle, if we only had a faster wide receiver, if we only had a better quarterback. He said, no, we're going to win with what we got right here. Now, he's still one of the best recruiters in the country, and he's going to go out and try to get those other guys, okay?
No, obviously, if you can get a Felipe Franks to come in, you get a Felipe Franks to come in.
Yeah.
John Ridgeway, stuff like that. But no, he's done it. And I mean, you can tell the love and the affection this team has for him. I broke down in Bald Hog Plus, and it's been neat to watch him coach.
Yeah.
But man, I've loved it. And man, he said, man, I want to bring, this is a proud state. And he brought pride back to this program. Now, he did hit the news this week for hiring a new agent. And me and you talked about this before. Jenny Henry, Mark Henry's wife, Hunter Hudson and Hayden's mom, was his agent. He changed agents, went to Jimmy Sexton. And I know a lot of people weren't happy about this, mostly probably Miss Henry.
Yeah.
But guys, I wouldn't overreact. I think Sam Pittman still wants this to be his last job. Yeah. I think every plans this will be his last job. But he, look, these coaches haven't done the job that he's done, and they're making $7.5 million a year, $6 million a year. Now, I ain't saying that we've got to pay Sam that, but if Sam doesn't have faith in his agent or whatever reason to get to do the job, then you know what? This next contract may be his last contract. Sam Pittman's 60 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. And he hired Jimmy Sexton, and go ahead.
And Clint, like we talked about, man, when I first heard about it, I hated it. I really did. I was like, oh no. Because here's the thing. Sam Pittman was different.
Yeah.
Right? He came in pretty much said, just pay me what you're going to pay me. I want this job so bad. Lace it with incentives. Give me a decent base salary. I'm ready to go to work. He knew he had to prove himself as a head coach. And that's what he's done. He has proven that he is a head coach.
Yeah, he has.
And he did it with an agent that was just going to handle all the dotting I's and crossing the T's and making sure the commas and the periods are in the right spot. Okay. Now he's gone to Jimmy Sexton, the king of coaching drama, the guy who got that Nebraska plane down for Houston Nutt to be getting on. Okay. The guy who also said that Houston was in talks with LSU at one time. Before that was when Les Miles was still the coach. The guy who said Les Miles was coming to Arkansas at one time. The guy who's, done all kinds of things with Lane Kiffin. Okay. That's his new agent. This is a business decision. I can't blame him for it.
No,
okay?
No.
He's about to retire. He says this is going to be his last job, however long he's here. You might as well get as much out of your last contract as you can. Okay. And he's going to do that because Jimmy Sexton is going to do that.
Right.
Now, and I said it's also for his assistants that he's going to he wants to negotiate and be a little more hard on his negotiations to make sure they get paid what he thinks they're worth. Although Odom and Bryles have got pretty good contracts from what I remember.
But when you lose like your offensive line coach, Brad Davis, of course he went home, but he also got a hefty raise. Yeah. So, it just.
But we also see what they thought of him.
Yeah.
And that he's the interim coach, or was going to be the interim coach. I don't know if Kelly's coaching the bowl game or if they're going to let Davis coach it. But
I bet Davis coaches it. I'm not reading too much into it. Pittman was quoted saying, "Dude, I said this is going to be my last job, and it is."
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it was a business decision, and it is what it is.
I just wish there was someone besides Sexton.
I know these kids are getting paid.
Now, if I was a coach, I'd probably say I want Jimmy Sexton.
Yes,
he's gonna get him the most money possible. It's just there's gonna be drama that comes along with it.
Let's go.
There's
Man,
gonna be plenty watching.
I don't think you're going to see Pittman attached to these jobs. I really don't. I'd be shocked if you did.
I don't think he's going to have a choice.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Pittman attached to some jobs. I think if nothing else, you're going to hear his name floated out there. There's going to be, I mean, it was floated out there this year.
No, I'm sure.
There was some other, like on Hog Sports, there was some folks saying, some other message boards were saying stuff about Pittman being a possibility at Oklahoma and stuff like that. Yeah. He wasn't, but you know.
No, I think Oklahoma got their guy. I think that's what they want to go with.
Yeah. Oh, they did. I'm excited to see what Venables does. Yeah. I was always rooting for Venables the last two coaches we fired. So
hey, bigger T. We did it, man. First award show in the books.
First award show, the Biggies.
The Biggies. We didn't even wear tuxedos.
We didn't wear a tuxedo. I wore my college shirt.
You did. I wore my Turd Ferguson shirt.
Turd Ferguson. He's special. Anyway, yeah, man, the Biggies are done. The awards are out there, man. Congratulations to the winners. You have not only won nothing, but you've won our hearts and our admiration.
Right here.
And our good words on this wonderful podcast.
And any of you guys that if you listen to this award show, you want to award, direct messages, and I'll get Sue to make you some dirt cake. Maybe
there you go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So any of y'all that watch this, if you direct messages and you told us you watched this, in fact, I guarantee you we will get you a plaque or trophy or something.
Yeah.
If you want it. Okay. But we got to know you want it. We got to know you at least listen to it. Okay. But if you listen to it or you watched it, Hometown Roofing, I'm going to go ahead and talk for Robert.
Right. Yeah.
Will help us sponsor a plaque or something that you can hang on your wall and it'll say, I got a Biggie Award 2021 and what it was for.
Sponsored by Hometown Roofing.
Sponsored by Hometown Roofing. Okay.
I don't have a Hometown Roofing logo on it, but you know, anyway.
Yeah. And it may have a picture of me and Clint on it.
Maybe Biggie Smalls. We don't know.
Maybe, you know what? Because we love it when you call us Big Papa. Wave your hands in the air if you're a true player. Anyway, man, Clint, as always, fun episode. Man, it's great doing this when we've had a great season.
It is.
And we didn't really even talk about the bowl game. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But we're going to the Outback Bowl. We're going to get a bloomin' onion.
Yeah.
Going to have some shrimp on a bobby. We're going to get some, whatever, that black bread they had.
And it was nice. We got the bowl we deserved.
We got a great bowl.
It was. I mean, it went the way it should. I mean,
now I understand people are having a hard time finding flights to it and stuff like that. But besides that, you know, at least it's down. There's, you know, beaches and clear water close and all that kind of stuff for people to go hang out. And I understand the return flights is what they're having problems with. A lot of people, I think Trey Biddy talked about it, he's going to have to stay like 2 or 3 days after to get a good return flight or something. But
wow.
Anyway, but yeah, man, we got, you know, it's so good to be able to celebrate these Hogs. And now basketball's going. The Hogs are up on Charlotte right now.
They were up 14 when I checked on my phone.
75 to 64. Only up 11 there. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully they'll pull that one out. But the basketball team's looking good. Man, there's a lot, just good stuff, baby. It's good stuff.
Hey, we're about 14 weeks or 13 weeks down from turning a year old, so we're excited about it.
Man, look at us. This is 39 right here. We'll be 40 next week, man.
The big 4-0.
Big 4-0. Man, I don't know what we're gonna do then. We have to start seeing doctor about strange things.
Yeah. Hey, but guys, speaking of strange things, like, share, subscribe. Come on.
listen, whether you're listening to us on the YouTubes or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're just first time, go to one of those others, subscribe to it, give us a 5-star rating and some comments on all of them. We want some comments. We need more comments about this stuff. If you don't like our picks for biggies, you're wrong, but tell us about it. Tell us where we're wrong, or you think we're wrong. We'll tell you how you're wrong. Doesn't matter. No, but there's a lot of things we could have done different. That's okay. That's what makes us fans. But talk to us, share with us. Clint, also, I don't know, I got one text from somebody saying, go for the comedy deal. But that's the only feedback I got.
Yeah, nobody texts me. I guess nobody likes me.
Well, my buddy Adam Sandford.
Oh, okay.
He that was on here the last week of our picks. He texted me, said great show, and definitely go for y'all should definitely do the stand-up.
I can't believe Robert and Wesley, neither one mentioned it.
No, they haven't watched.
I figured Gay would have been like, at least say, hey, Clint, you're not that funny.
I know you called him out specifically.
Yeah, he's like, hey.
Yeah.
He probably, I guess when we start wrapping it up, because we brought it up, we were wrapping it up last time, people just quit listening.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to talk about sponsors. We don't have no sponsors.
That's right. Just listen to the end on this one.
Yeah, just listen to the end as we say it at the end.
Yeah. Just listen to our boy, Sean Michelle. Go get your hometown roofing. And that's all. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
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 Like, share. Like, share, like, share. Come see us.
Bye. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Oh, I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom